Do you need to deprive yourself to eat vegan? It's a common concern I hear from people interested in a vegan or plant-based diet, and it's a justified one. How can your meals be exciting, delicious, and convenient when you're restricting yourself so much? In this video, I want to pull back the layers of this question to reveal how we are always depriving ourselves of something. It's just a question of what we want to deprive ourselves of. Let's dive in, friend. I'm Dr. Ryan Williams, your host and the founder of Growing Pure, where I help you make vegan cooking and health fast, simple, and mind-blowingly tasty. So there are several layers to this question of, do we have to deprive ourselves on a vegan diet? And I think the place that we have to start is to realize that we are always depriving ourselves of something. No matter what we do, our lives feature constant deprivation. Now, why? Because we only have a finite amount of time, and in any given time slot, we have to decide what we're going to do in it. And by making that choice, we inherently deprive ourselves of all the other things that we could have done with that time. So, for instance, let's say I decide to sit on the couch and watch TV. Well, I can do that, but I'm depriving myself of all the other things that I could have done with that time. I'm depriving myself of the walk I could have gone on, the friends I could have seen, the video games I could have played, the food I could have eaten. And so realizing this, we are forced to conclude that it is impossible not to deprive ourselves. It is part of being human. But what about when it comes to food? Well, it's much the same thing. When we eat steak and fries, we're not eating a salad bowl or a vegan chili. When we eat broccoli or sweet potatoes, well, we're not eating shrimp or chicken thighs. But here's where we get into the interesting part, which is realizing that our food choices have consequences, both short and long term. So how can our food choices deprive us? Well, I think the short-term consequences, the short-term deprivations, are pretty obvious. So let's say we choose to eat a healthy vegan curry with brown rice, and we choose not to eat what we could have had instead, which might be a big steak cooked in butter with fries. Well, we will miss out on the probably quite delicious taste of that steak and fries. I don't think many people can argue that well-cooked animal foods do actually taste good. And the fact of the matter is, we will deprive ourselves of that taste on our tongue if we choose not to eat them. Similarly, we might want a snack. So we could choose some nuts and dried fruit instead of a candy bar or a bar of chocolate or a bag of chips or crisps. And if we do make that choice, then we're going to deprive ourselves of that wonderful taste of ultra-processed foods. We're going to miss out on that sugar high, that salty crunch. And indeed, when we're first adjusting to eating vegan foods, we can find it less convenient. It's certainly harder to find vegan food choices or healthy food choices in our general environment. And so we're depriving ourselves of the ease of making these very low effort food choices, like choosing the junk food or the fast food or the drive-through that's available on nearly every street corner. But there are other ways that we deprive ourselves with our food choices that are much more subtle and often much more powerful as well. So let's flip it round and look at the other side. What do we deprive ourselves of if we do choose to eat the steak and fries, the bags of candy, the bacon and eggs, the ultra-processed ready meals? Well, we're going to deprive ourselves of health, both in the near term and the long term. We will deprive ourselves of feeling energetic, of having the energy to make the most out of life, to go walking or spend time with our family, play with our kids. We'll deprive ourselves of good digestion, a feeling of motivation and alertness and wakefulness. We're probably going to deprive ourselves of a body that we like seeing in the mirror. You know, these kind of foods are likely to put weight on us. We are depriving ourselves of enjoying the feeling of being in our own skin. And ultimately, we may well be depriving ourselves of happiness in general. And of course, we're depriving ourselves of long-term health, when we eat these kind of foods, our disease risk for things like heart disease, strokes, type 2 diabetes, dementia, these are all going to go up considerably. And to put it bluntly, we're increasing our chances for death when we eat a diet consisting of these kind of foods. And in that sense, we know that our diet has a huge impact on our life expectancy, and that an unhealthy diet is very likely to take years off your life. And so given that, this means it goes beyond just us, right? So if we get sick or we pass away before our time, we're depriving our friends and our family of time with their loved one, with us. We might deprive our son or daughter of a life with their mother and father in it. We deprive our communities, the people we come into contact with, of our gifts, our passions, our personalities that are unique and wonderful to each one of us. We might be depriving ourselves of inner peace and joy and harmony as well. Why? Well, we're going to experience cognitive dissonance because we know that we're making choices that aren't necessarily in our long-term best interests. And again, this goes beyond us, right? So if we choose to eat animal products, inherently that means that an innocent animal has had to be slaughtered for that to happen. This is going to be bloody and it's going to be gruesome. And very likely it's going to condemn that animal to a life in a factory farm, a horrific existence, ending in a slaughterhouse. And ultimately we have to live with that if we choose to eat these foods. And so we're depriving ourselves of the harmony of aligning our beliefs, very likely that you're against animal cruelty, that most people would say that they're against animal cruelty. So we're not living in alignment with that belief because we're causing cruelty to animals. And it doesn't even stop there with the life of an animal. It goes beyond that to an environmental consideration, a wider consideration of the world in which we live. So the science is very clear that the production of animal foods is often highly destructive to the environment. It creates huge levels of greenhouse gas emissions. It's highly polluting to the land and to the water. It causes habitat destruction and sort of deforestation of rainforests. And it has a very big land and water footprint as well in comparison with plant-based foods. And so if we choose these animal foods rather than plant-based healthy foods, we are depriving ourselves of being part of the solution to this problem. And that's a heavy weight that we have to carry because we know at some level, even if it's only a very small level, that our choices are perhaps leaving the world in a worse state than we found it. And so the question here is, what kind of deprivation do you choose? Just by existing, you have to make choices. And therefore, by making one choice, you are inherently depriving yourself of something. There is no way around this. And so if you choose to eat healthy vegan meals, you probably will deprive yourself of tastes and feelings that you genuinely enjoy. And there is nothing wrong with enjoying tasty food, right? There is nothing wrong whatsoever with that. You're also probably going to make your life less convenient, right? The world is not set up to be vegan at the moment. So you're probably going to deprive yourself of making the convenient choice. You might even deprive yourself of certain family traditions that you're used to, like eating turkey at Christmas, for example. But if you choose to eat animal-based foods and processed junk foods, then you're very likely going to deprive yourself of health, vitality, energy, and years spent with loved ones. You may be depriving your family and your friends and your colleagues of the best version of you that they want to have. You're probably going to deprive yourself of the mental clarity and peace of making choices you feel good about in the long term. And you will inherently deprive animals of their lives. There's no way around that. So it is your choice to make. No one can decide for you. Now, I know what choice a massive food industry that profits off your food choices wants you to make. I know what choice medical, pharmaceutical and supplement industry that makes money when you're feeling sick and tired wants you to make. But thankfully, No one can choose for you. It is entirely your choice. So friend, what's it going to be? Now, I hope this video has given you some food for thought. I'm really not trying to judge anyone. I'm just trying to sort of explore this issue of deprivation and look at it from different angles. So I hope it's been insightful for you. But I actually want you to have the best of both worlds here. I want you to enjoy quick, convenient food that is also healthy and vegan. I want to give you my time-saving kitchen guide that will give you hours of your life back in the kitchen. You're going to get my top 5 time-saving hacks that will allow you to speed through your cooking really quickly and get the best of both worlds. So if that sounds like it will be helpful to you, friend, please click on the link in the description below. You can download that PDF totally for free. It's my gift to you. Now, I want to thank you so much for watching. And if you have enjoyed this video, I'd like to suggest that you might also enjoy another video I've created all about the power of food for our mind and our body. It's going to discuss how everything that makes you up started at the end of your fork. If that sounds interesting to you, then you can watch that video. Click right here and you can watch that. See you next time.